That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
I feel like that would be like it would be super cool to see this setup where it's a live show with like a big drum line.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that would be like the best college football halftime show.
And it's funny that you say that because as I'm listening to the song, I've listened to it a handful of times now. Every time I'm listening to it, I was like, don't do it. What's going to happen? It's going to happen. I've made premonitions like this before where someone's going to find this song and it's going to be part of a tech demo or some sort of trailer or commercial for something. And then it's just going to blow out of the water, like the listens to it. But sometimes I hate when that happens to a song because I'm like, no, I liked this gem. Now it's all commercialized and now like everyone knows it. But these guys definitely deserve it.
I feel like that kind of happened with like "Bad Guy" by Billie Eilish. I feel like that was
I've
like
seen that in so many commercials.
an extreme version of that.
The reason I say to the college football comment was I really liked a song that I found on 88.9 in Milwaukee called "Rocket Fuel" by DJ Shadow, and then like it was a few months later that I saw it featured in like a Pro Bowl commercial for the NFL, and then it was recently also featured in like a commercial for Dirt 5, the video game. So like I get it when they use songs like that because they are great songs, but this one like immediately I was like those drums and those horns, I feel like it's going to be in a tech commercial for Apple at some point.
I could see more of like a car commercial, but yeah, I could definitely see it being used in that way for sure.
But that aside, I love the sound of it.
It's got crazy energy. I love all of the different drum stuff mixed with like the like acoustic sounding like snare drum where they're like changing the pitch and doing the like pitch rolls and stuff on it. I think that would just be really interesting. Like get a giant drum line where they've all got their stuff. And then there's one dude who's on like an electronic drum kit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's like a giant set of speakers or something. He's like rolling around on a dolly or something like that. That would just be an amazing show that I would kill to see. And it sounds like they could do it fairly easily. I'd be interested to see if they have maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if you just search their name, Atomic Drum Assembly, they're like the first hit on Google under Ministry of Sound's website, and they have like a bunch of info on there, or they have individual pages for each of the artists that they have in their group. So then there would be like more information to find out like how this group even came together or what pieces they're using to get this sound.
Yeah, so it's two producers. Do you know? I'm curious if I can find who they are, because if they were anybody that I would have heard of, maybe.
Yeah, I guess I didn't look into any of the artists' individual pages, so I don't know if any of those people are the producers. It just seemed kind of vague because even on Spotify, it just doesn't list a bio for them. They just haven't decided to put one on there.
I wonder if they're specifically trying to keep it as anonymous as possible so that they can just do whatever they want without like major pressure from people or something like that.
There's always hints of that when someone has a certain name that brings a certain level of attention, and then because they have that attention, people will judge it from a certain angle. When you're keeping it anonymous or keeping it under that name and it's not connected to actual people, they can just judge it and break it down or respect it for what it is without having to say, oh, but it's made by that person.
Yeah, well, they can also go about their daily lives. And then I think I think it also makes it a little bit easier to read criticism, even if it's about you, if there's a different name attached to it. It looks like they were also in the FIFA 19 soundtrack.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, their song Island Life off of their self-titled album is on the FIFA 19 soundtrack. So I guess I'm curious about how many of the listeners that they currently have came from FIFA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is definitely one that I want to look more into the rest of their stuff because that was super interesting.
Yeah, I did do a little dive on some of their other tracks that they had on Spotify and some of the EPs that they had put out. Um, it's definitely worth listening to. I'm trying to the one that they really had some good sound throughout the whole thing. It was their Meant for This EP that came out in 2019. Each track in that has a really good sound, but you definitely, when they call it world music, you got to be open to it's not going to be just some commercial sellout sort of thing. There is a little bit of experimentation, there's a little bit more instrumentation, but I think that they have a really good sound.
Yeah, I definitely love the experimental stuff like that. I think that this was a great closer for the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. This has been the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about listening to new music with good people.